Welcome back on board the Starship. I'm talking with Tony Kilvert. And where does the Ark of the Covenant fit into this? Because most people would say, well, the Ark of the Covenant's got the stone tablets with the Ten Commandments written on them, which were given by God to Moses when he went up a mountain. Now, if that happened, then I think that was maybe a perhaps an extraterrestrial or Anunnaki or whatever giving him that. They've basically been intervening with certain prophets, shall we say, Indeed. Throughout to create our religion. But you think the Ark of the Covenant's got something else in it?
Well, I don't know what's actually in it, is the truth.
Right.
But what I do know is it was indeed a capacitor.
Right.
And that, basically what a capacitor is, it's collecting energy through sacred geometry. This is why when you see the actual wings, they're together. What you would see if you're looking at that capacitor is a spark between the two. And that's why the wings are facing each other. It draws in energy from the ambient atmosphere and it converts it into electricity. So that's the secret of, if you've got the Ark, you understand the knowledge of how to make energy from nothing. Or it's not from nothing, it's already in the atmosphere. When we walk outside, we can walk around without a spacesuit. Now if you go to space, you're going to be looking at pretty much absolute zero. So what is it out there that makes it warmer than absolute zero? It's energy, but it's in the form of heat. It's not in the form of a spark.
Ambient energy,
until you get too much and it forms lightning.
Yeah.
And this is the key to understanding how all this energetic how it all fits together. Because the people that controlled the Ark or control the information about how to manipulate and create energy have information that's way above everybody else, and they can never get to it because it's always been hidden.
And you described that there was possibly advanced technology from another race in the Ark of the Covenant, which was an energy transference device, effectively, which gathers ambient energy from the atmosphere and converts it into energy that people can use. I don't know whether that would be electrical energy. Now that sounds exactly the same as John Searls' Searl effect generator. That's allegedly what that device does.
Yeah.
Now, because as far as I'm aware, there was only one Ark of the Covenant. Would that have then been connected? Let's say this technology, a capacitor as you call it, was creating energy for the people of the world at some time when this technology was functioning. Would there have been a distribution grid to the people?
No, because when you think about it, if you duplicated the Ark correctly, it would function as a capacitor, so everybody could have their own capacitor.
Right.
They could all tap into the same ambient energy and have their own electricity. Now obviously the people that manufacture power stations and coal stations and nuclear stations, none of which we need, if the people had their access to that information, which is how to do this, energy companies would be out of business. Bang, straight away.
So are you saying that the Ark of the Covenant just contains the instructions on how to build this, or it actually contains a working device?
It is a working device.
It is a working
technology itself.
Right, it's technology itself. So, can you explain why there would only be one of them? I mean, I don't know that there is only one Ark, but or one of these capacitors. Surely there would be more than one if everyone was using them to power their,
Well, that's the point. We're not, because it's been hidden. If everybody knew about it, then we could all,
So
have it.
So that at some point there was a suppression of all of these various ancient but advanced technologies that the world was living off, that have been suppressed, and this is kind of the hidden knowledge of secret societies. Although some secret societies haven't quite got it right, you think? Is that?
You need to go to the top of the pyramid again, because the people at the top know exactly what's going on. It's the people below them that don't understand all of the information that's being passed up.
Right.
Many people discuss this, David Icke and just loads of people.
All right. Now, you've followed a guy called Max Igan.
Indeed,
Yeah, and he has produced several films about the New World Order and what people's agenda are. Give us a flavour of what this guy's about. How old is he? Where does he live? What does his work cover?
Well, the easiest way to explain it is he's looked at the same things that I've looked at. I independently have come to the same conclusions as he's come to.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend everybody goes to his website, and which is thegrowhouse.com. And
thecrowhouse.com. Okay,
indeed.
We'll put that up on the screen. And he's Canadian, this Max Eigen. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
All right, and he's, like I say, he's made a film called The Calling, and what other films?
Big Picture, New World Order, Fight the New World Order. I would also say on that note as well, download them, because if things go the way they're looking, then we may lose the internet shortly. So.
Right. So you think that that the internet is possibly under threat?
Massively.
So can you expand on that? What makes you believe that?
Well, research. I've researched what's going on. I understand pretty much how it all fits together, and it's the information that they're trying to suppress, because of all of this information gets out, and people can begin to understand what's happening. If they understand it, they're going to realise quite what's going on here, and that it is actually pretty damn real.
Right.
We're being led deeper and deeper and deeper into a police state, a controlled society. It's incredible. Medicines are wrong, as I've said before. We're not getting vitamins, minerals. They're actually making iodine illegal. They're doing everything they can do. Check out aspartame, fluoride. Vaccines are a major one. People have got to do as much research as possible on this, as quick as possible, because it's rapidly closing the door.
Right. And okay, but now, and mainstream media is part of all of this.
It's part of the control grid, yes. We're conditioned from birth right the way through. Everything we think is, we're told this is the way it is, and it's drummed into you and drummed into you and drummed into you. And basically it's not quite that way at all if you actually take the time to educate yourself, instead of just watching TV all the time, or just going to read newspapers and all the rest of it. It all fits together when you take the time to go and look at the reality out there.
Every country is in debt just about, and so hence we're all in debt, and everyone's this bubble of debt.
Yeah. It's another mechanism to control everybody.
Yeah, and that at the top, this is all known about, and it's all deliberate.
Absolutely, it's a construct. So what they've done is created a mountain of debt that we can never actually pay off, that's always getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so we're completely enslaved for the rest of our lives, basically. Yeah. And if you think I'm wrong, go and have a look. I just encourage everybody who is aware enough at the moment to be able to consider the possibility that any of this is correct, to go out and research it for themselves. Nobody is going to come up to you and give you everything. You're going to have to go out and look for it yourselves. You need to check out medicines, you need to check out the money situation, the energy situation. I mean, Tesla was driving a car around for 2 years on an engine that never had any fuel in it. It was running from ambient air. And, obviously it was taken off him in the end, but that was the beauty of the Tesla coil. It took the ambient heat in the air and it converted it into electricity. So you just sucked electricity straight out in the atmosphere. That's what's keeping the air warm out there.
Yeah, which is how the the SEG is alleged to work. The effect of its energy production is that it just slightly decreases the temperature of the air around it. So it's not actually pulling energy from nowhere.
It's coming from heat.
Yeah, yeah. So just to go back to the pyramid building, you've started constructing your own pyramids. Now, what materials do you make them out of? Are they solid pyramids? Do they have this Merkaba on top? Just describe them for us, Tony.
Yeah, well, basically, having found out X information, I wanted to go and actually check it out and see if it worked. So I actually started making some pyramids, and I did everything I've mentioned about alignment and activation and Merkaba and all those sort of things. And I found the results astonishing, basically.
Right. So, are these solid pyramids? Are they hot? Are they? Do you go inside them, or I mean, what? How big are they?
Well, they can be as big as you want to build them. But just to give you an example, I explained how the gold, there were gold bars in the actual pyramids themselves. When they created holes and they filled it up with gold, so it created like an inner gold cage. Wood is one of the best things to make a pyramid from. The reason being that wood contains water molecules stored within the wood.
Right.
So again, keeping everything in tune with everything else is important. If water, quartz, and gold all resonate at the same frequency, so if you can use a wooden pyramid, it's got the molecular, it's got water within it, so it resonates very well.
Right, and this would be solid wood pyramid, not one that you go inside then.
No. It would be basically if you take 4 wood components and put them together at the correct angles, etc.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You'd be able to sit in it and walk
Right.
around in it on the big ones, and you can have small ones for charging things like crystals and various other things.
And what about the sides of the pyramid? Would they be wood as well? Wood surfaces, or
No, just open. Well,
so just like a cage? Then?
you could do if you wanted to, but I mean, you could build. There's all sorts of ways of doing pyramids, but the ones I particularly have built have just been like 4 sticks coming together and a base to hold it all together, to do various experiments with.
Right.
Meditation pyramids, those sort of
I mean, I have heard things like if you make a pyramid and you have the surfaces like a mirror, and you put a razor blade next to it, it sharpens itself. Now that sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy.
I mean, do things like that actually work? I mean,
yes, they do. Basically,
Right.
whether you put the pyramid on the razor blade on the outside of the pyramid, or you put it inside the pyramid, are 2 different things. I haven't tried that exact experiment, so I'll get back to you on that one.
So, in your opinion, they all need this Merkaba on the top in order to function?
Not all of them, no, because the sacred geometric shape itself resonates with the correct energies that are in tune with it. It's a bit like a tuning fork.
Yeah.
If I put one tuning fork here, strike another tuning fork and put them next to each other, they'll both start vibrating.
Yes.
It will go through sound and start vibrating in the other fork.
That's a good analogy, right? So you've got one tuning fork which you haven't twanged.
Yeah.
You twang another one.
And then put it next to
If
it.
if it's the same note, you put that one next to it. The other one will start to vibrate because it
Absolutely.
passes the energy.
The energy goes from vibration in one tuning fork into sound waves, which strike the second tuning fork, and it resonates in tune with this first fork.
Right.
Now, if you could amplify that, it might be a better analogy if you put both forks in water. You strike one and then put the other one next to it in water. Now, water molecules are heavier. They'll have an impact which is greater than if it was just thin air. So that's a bit like the capstone. If it's tuned in to the right frequencies, it'll pick up more of the same frequency. So the geometric shape itself is one step, but if you add the symbols, which is another step, the direction, which is another step, and the Holy Grail at the top, which is a further step, all these different things, you're helping to tune the pyramids into the highest possible function.
I mean, I can understand the analogy of the tuning fork and the fact that that particular shape, because it's kind of the same as something which is going on at a very low or tiny level, if you like, it can resonate. I can see that there's why that shape's important, because it's the essence of everything, I suppose. Those sacred shapes are the essence of everything, for want of a better word. Therefore, I can see why it may be, like snowflakes and all that they
resonate.
There's something very, very small which is determining the shape of that snowflake.
Fundamental sacred geometry.
Yeah, fundamental sacred geometry, which is why they need to be this shape in order to resonate. I can kind of get my head around that. The resonance between something which is, say, subatomic or fundamental and something which we can see on our scale. But, I mean, in order to verify and prove that this technology works or can be used for X, Y, or Z purposes, as you claim it was in the pyramids, you need to get some scientists to test these theories. I mean, have you looked into that?
I've tested them myself, so I know they work, and I haven't looked into getting a scientist to verify it. No, but it's one of the things that I'll be looking at.
I mean, the people who, they tend to be sort of fringe scientists who maybe anyone who doesn't think the pyramids was burial tombs for pharaohs is cast down. They're considered fruitcakes.
Yeah.
So I guess it's very difficult for scientists to get to try and verify. I mean, the way I would approach it is I would set a test to say, right, well, you need something to test the device against. In other words, you need to make a claim and say, this device does this.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I can put a glass of water in a pyramid and it will fundamentally change, for example.
It will be.
Right? Now, you need to then put one in a cardboard box and then one in a pyramid and test that the one in the pyramid's fundamentally different to the one, and then get that scientifically verified. So maybe we can maybe we can devise a test that could test a pyramid. Are you with me? And then at least, because all right, you sitting there saying, "Well, I've tested these things. I know they work." I don't disbelieve you.
It's not just me.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't disbelieve you. But there needs to be an empirical way of testing it. So maybe after this interview, we'll sit down and work out a simple test that would verify that because of that object's shape, it performs a function on something inside it.
I can give you multiple proofs and multiple
Right.
people that will all confirm it. And the Russians have done amazing work over in Russia
Right.
with pyramids of all different shapes, sizes, and it's
Right.
amazing information.
So if that's the case, so the Russian scientists are prepared to get on board with this research.
They
Do you think they just they do publish or they don't publish?
Yeah,
so
they've published it.
They have published.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So
Like,
I mean, where can people get that sort of information?
I'll provide you the link because I can't remember the...
So there's a link. Yeah, there's a URL,
Yeah,
and these are kosher Russian scientists have looked into this.
absolutely.
Okay. Right.
It's all been done.
Right.
Um,
All right.
well-
I didn't know that, Tony. I didn't know that the academics had.
Fine.
Okay.
They did loads and loads of different tests. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. All on
Right.
different frequencies, different pyramids, all sorts of different tests.
Right. Okay. Well, what we'll maybe do is sit down and I'll have a look at that information that you've said about the Russian stuff, and maybe we can. I mean, have they done tests where they've proven certain things? And if so, why isn't Western science taking notice of that?
Because the media is not giving you the information. It
Right.
doesn't mean to say that the information is not verifiable or there, but nobody's going out and putting it all together and looking at these things. You're getting disinformation all over the TV, but you're not getting true, accurate information for very good reason.
Right. All right, then, Tony. Really, really enjoyed listening to you, and I've learned a phenomenal amount from you over these couple of days. So,
Cool.
thanks very much for being interviewed.
Thank you.